Hey, if you're new here, welcome. And if you've been here all along, you know the vibe. My name is JT. I'm 53 years old and 6 foot tall. I live in Manhattan and I was raised right here in New York. This city is a big part of who I am. Tough, fast-paced, and full of heart. I studied art history and graphic design, and that led me into a career in fashion. I spent several years designing handbags and children's accessories. I even co-owned a men's underwear brand at one point, which is probably not what people expect, but it taught me a lot about business, branding, and trusting my instincts. Eventually, I found my way into content creation. Honestly, just trying to find space where I can combine my creative background with the things I'm passionate about. Pop culture, media, design, storytelling. And once I got started, it clicked. I'm also kind of a geek. I grew up collecting comic books and watching Wonder Woman religiously. But the truth is, my worldview wasn't shaped by a character. It was shaped by my mother. She's the strongest person I've ever known. She taught me resilience, compassion, independence, and how to speak up for myself. Because of her, I've always admired strong women, real or fictional. That's why I look up to people like Angela Bassett, Angelina Jolie, Olivia Pope, she's fictional of course, Serena Williams, and Meghan Markle. My favorite shows? Wonder Woman, Scandal, Dynasty, and Suits. My favorite movies? Steel Magnolias, Pretty Woman, Mean Girls, and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I love stories with strong characters and real emotion. I love tennis, watching it and playing it. I also played volleyball and softball. These days, fitness is a big part of my life. I guess you could say I'm a little obsessed, but I enjoy it. I'm also a traveler. I've been lucky enough to see Europe, with Prague, London, and Paris being my favorite cities. But there's just something about Paris that gets me. I've spent time in Asia too. Hong Kong, Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, I used to travel there for work, and Japan. Every trip has taught me something. I'm Filipino, I'm LGBTQIA, I'm a Democrat, I'm an only child, I keep my circle small, I'm a homebody at heart, and recently I discovered I'm an introvert, which actually surprised me. But if I know you well and feel safe, that's when I open up. I used to create content about movies, TV, and comics, until I noticed how much hate was being thrown at Meghan, and it didn't sit right with me. So I decided to use my platform to speak up and push back in ways that's honest, a little shady, and sometimes a little too direct. Now, I create content that reflects what I care about. I stand up for what I believe in, and I try to do it with integrity. So if you're here for thoughtful commentary, honest conversation, and maybe a little pop culture on the side, I'm really glad you're here. Isn't it funny how William and Kate get praised for modernizing the monarchy every time they break a royal rule? But when Meghan and Harry did the exact same thing, it was a national scandal. So let me get this straight. William and Kate are now considering ditching royal protocol so they can fly with their son once he turns 12. The press is treating it like an adorable, progressive parenting choice. But when Harry and Meghan took their infant son on a trip, on a commercial plane no less, it was framed as reckless, selfish, and unroyal. When William and Kate keep their kids out of the spotlight, that's privacy. When Harry and Meghan do it, that's secrecy, manipulation, and breaking tradition. Be for fucking real. When Kate reemerges after a health crisis and reclaims her spotlight at Wimbledon, she's strong, radiant, and a symbol of resilience. Meghan did one podcast interview after her miscarriage recovery, and it was, oh, she's exploiting her trauma for attention. Get the fuck out of here. You can't make this shit up. And now, while aides from Harry and Meghan's team are quietly meeting with the King's staff in a possible step towards reconciliation, William and Kate have distanced themselves and made it clear they don't want to be involved. And somehow that's okay. But when Harry and Meghan distanced themselves from the dysfunction, it was called betrayal. Where was the grace when they needed it? Where was the supportive press when Meghan was suicidal? When she was pregnant and being smeared in headlines? When she asked for help and was told no? Where were the glowing headlines when Meghan protected her kids from the same cameras that hounded Harry's mother to her death? They said Meghan didn't follow the rules. She didn't honor the crown. And here's what they never say out loud. They never expected William to follow the rules. They expected Meghan to follow them. This isn't about tradition. This isn't about protocol. This is about power, control, and a relentless double standard that protects one couple and punishes the other because of who they are, what they represent, and who they refused to become. So if you're still pretending the criticism of Meghan is still about her breaking the rules, you're either delusional or you're complicit. Let's talk about diamonds. Since so many of the haters suddenly discovered ethics the moment Meghan put on a pair of earrings. Yes, Meghan wore chandelier earrings gifted by the Saudi crown prince at a formal royal event. Approved by royal aides, cleared by Kensington Palace. She was told they were borrowed. And yet, 5 years later, the haters are still screaming hypocrite, like she smuggled them out of a war zone. But here's what they always forget. Every woman in that family wears blood diamonds. Just because the blood dried centuries ago doesn't mean it's not there. The Queen, she wore the Koh-i-Noor, a 105-carat diamond looted from India during colonial rule. It sits on a crown the British refused to return, even as multiple countries demand it back. The Cullinan diamonds, mined from South Africa under imperial rule, and gifted to the crown as a loyalty gesture. That's not a gift, that's extortion. Camilla wore them at the coronation like it was another Tuesday. And Kate Middleton, she's worn pieces from the exact same Saudi jewelry collection Meghan was crucified for. Originally given to Princess Diana by Crowned Prince Fahd. Where's the outrage for that? Oh right. It's only a problem when Meghan touches it. Got it. And let's not forget Prince Andrew, who wore an HRH title standing beside Jeffrey Epstein, accepted luxury trips from billionaires, and paid off an SA lawsuit tied to a trafficked minor. So tell me again how Meghan's earrings are a scandal? The truth is, the hypocrite Meghan haters don't care about human rights. They care about controlling Meghan. If they held the rest of the family to even 1/10 of the standard they impose on her, there wouldn't be a monarchy left to defend. So if you're ready to demand Camilla return her coronation diamonds, or Kate hand back her Saudi set, or the crown give India and South Africa their jewels back, spare us your fake morality.
Do you think Meghan will ever come back to Britain?
I just don't think she has any desire to. She doesn't even want to stand on that Buckingham Palace balcony ever again, I don't think. You know, even though it would be the most incredible publicity for her books and her TV deals and her cookery show.
Oh, look who showed up again. Stalking me from this account to my backup account. Like a parasite. You're not here for truth. You're here because obsession is your love language. But thank you, really, for giving me the perfect excuse to break this down. And this isn't just for you. This is for the Gothic Rose too. Or whatever tacky name she likes to go by. Since both of you seem to confuse fanfiction with fact, yes, the driver was drunk. Yes, Princess Diana wasn't wearing a seatbelt. But that's not the whole story. That's the royal approved bedtime story. Simple, neat, and safe. So here's what you don't like to talk about. The paparazzi chase that turned the car into a coffin. The palace's refusal to protect her, even after multiple threats. The 30-minute delay in medical treatment while she was bleeding internally. And yes, MI6 literally had a plan to fake a car crash in a tunnel. That's not conspiracy. That came out in parliamentary testimony. But sure, let's blame the seatbelt. Maybe next you'll say she should have walked. Princess Diana wasn't just neglected. She was sacrificed by a system that couldn't control her and didn't want to protect her. So this little performance you're doing, it's not fact check. It's emotional damage control. You're not exposing anything. You're just proving how attached you are to a lie that makes you feel safe. Now run along or stay. Refresh my page again. I know you want to. Hey Mickey, you said totally disagree. She didn't live as a black woman. FYI, try Diane Carroll. This was her muse. Now, before I open up the library, is this you?
This is truly the best home decor hack to make your space look expensive with minimal.
First of all, define it for me. What exactly does it mean to live as a black woman? Because that's giving black jobs. You talk white. and real black girls do X energy. What exactly does a white woman like you know about living as a black woman? Because that comment, not just wrong, it's widely inappropriate. You, Mickey, don't get to issue blackness report cards from the sidelines of an identity you've never lived. This isn't Pinterest. You don't get to curate who counts based on vibes, aesthetics, or how much public suffering satisfies your idea of racial authenticity. Meghan Sussex was dragged daily by the UK press, called straight outta Compton, compared to a monkey, had senior royals allegedly question what skin tone her child would be. That's exactly what racism looks like, Mickey. And she endured it all while being expected to stay silent and grateful. But here you are, a white woman invoking Diane Carroll, a groundbreaking actress who was also attacked in her time for not being the right kind of black woman. To shame another black woman you just don't like. You don't see the problem? Mickey, let me explain this as gently as possible. You do not get to define what it means to be a black woman. Not based on struggle. Not based on skin tone. Not based on your vibe check from the royal wedding. Blackness is not something you analyze from the outside like a trend report. Next time you feel compelled to tell a black woman, any black woman, whether or not she's black enough for you, do us all a favor. Sit with that entitlement, then sit all the way down. It's always the faceless ones who scream the loudest. Isn't it funny the most vicious hate for Meghan Sussex comes from accounts with no faces, no name, no followers, following nobody, and locked tighter than a royal vault? They've got so much to say from the shadows. Posting from @RoyalWatcher89248 with a profile picture of a cat, a flag, or a blurry flower. No bio, no content, just venom. That's not a person, that's a ghost with Wi-Fi. They're not offering commentary. They're not just asking questions. They're spewing hate from a digital cave. Because they know if they stepped into the light, they'd get cooked. Meghan intimidates them. Not because she's perfect, but because she's free from the box they desperately want to keep her in. They call her fake, but they hide behind fake names. They accuse her of attention seeking while obsessively tracking her every breath. They're not above her, they orbit her. Their whole personality is anti-Meghan. And yet they swear she's the one obsessed with fame. Their accounts are a joke. No identity, no substance, just bitterness in JPEG form. They're not a critic. They're cowards in digital trench coats. And you know they'll be so hurt knowing Meghan doesn't even read their posts. She doesn't need to. Because even from the throne of their petty little page, she's still winning. She left the room, and they're still talking to themselves. So here's what I have to say to the haters. The next time you feel bold enough to throw shade behind a locked, lifeless profile, remember, you don't hate Meghan because of who she is. You hate her because she walked through fire and didn't melt. And you can't even show your face.
Dominicans want to be more white so bad, but if you went to Spain, you would face so much racism, you would never want to go back. Even though they colonized us and we are part white, they will never see us as that, so give it up. The reason your lips are so full, your hair is so thick, and your body is so curvy is because we're African. The reason we know how to season our food is because we're African. Mango came from Africa. Who said that?
We have been black, powerless people for 400 years. I've seen people boxed in, black children, in Harlem of New York. I've seen people boxed in, black people, in Chicago, Illinois, in the slums, with the babies sick, rats eating on the babies. So what we mean by black power is we mean to have not only black political power, but black economic power, to have a voice in the educational system, that our kids will know, not only the black kids, but the white kids should know the kind of contribution that have been made by black people throughout this country. We want to determine some of our destiny. And this is what black power means. We want to have something to say about our destiny.
Hello, my people, Lady Rose here. How y'all doing? All my new subscribers, you're welcome. And returning subscribers, you all know I love you. Guys, let's go back to these leaks. There are leaks everywhere. Every single where in these people's, from these people's palaces. I mean, this guy is supposed to be the king, right? This Charlie boy. The dude's supposed to be the king. And the guy's office and his son's office, the future king, their offices just leaks like a diarrhea. I'm telling you, I don't know what to do with these people anymore. But you know what? The problem really is these people trying to be relevant on the backs of His Royal Highness the Duke of Sussex and Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. Because without these two, these people have no news. They have nothing to talk about. And you know the majority of these people, do you see how boring these people really are? These racists I'm talking about. These people are not relevant. Those people have no, they lack every single thing. They even lack the good part, even compassion. They lack that one. They lack even empathy. They lack every single thing. Good qualities, they ain't got none. That's why they are always jealous of you. Have you worked with some of these racists? I worked with a few of my colleagues, doctors, psychologists. I'm telling you, I ain't gonna go into depth. You know, some of these racists, when they are just, they are nobody. They are not smart. They lack a Holy Spirit. They lack compassion. They lack empathy that they teach you in the psych school to be sitting on this chair on the opposite side, to sit down and there and listen to people and try to give them some orientation in life. But those people lack all those talents. They can't learn anything from the book because guess what? In their genetics, those genetics came from Lucifer. They were not born from normal people. And on top of that, they inbred that Lucifer's blood. What are you expecting from those kind of people? You know why Prince Harry's blood was purified? Because he followed Jesus. He followed Jesus with his wife, broke the chain of that thing there. Got married to outsider, broke the chain because you know all them people down there inbred. All of them second cousins. All of them. Including Queen Lizzie. Yes. All of them. Them people ain't got no good blood. They came straight from Lucifer. And lots of them used to tell us when we were little back in the day that they descended from King James from the Bible. The guy was not in the Bible. The guy was the king of England and the Edinburgh Island. What do you call that island? Scotland. He was the king. And that guy was a gay man. And you tell me, where is Jesus like anything from that dude? Laying down with little boys and that bed there. You know when sometimes my mouth starts saying lots of stuff, I just try. I blame it on Reba Anderson. I blame it on Joyce Anderson. I blame it on Cookies and Cream. Everybody else but myself. Oh my goodness. Calling you blah blah. I be blaming everything on everybody. Because you know I don't want to say nothing. Because you know most times when I say stuff, those videos get flagged and then I get in lots of trouble. Because you know I'm just a troubled child in the family. You're gonna just take the blame and tell you. Like Mama Give, how y'all guys are doing, my queens? I love y'all. Chef Sandy, how y'all doing? Oh my goodness, I tell you. These people, there are leaks everywhere from those palaces. But you know why? It's due to these people being bored. These people are bored. nothing to do. They got nobody to talk to. The courtiers that they talk to also live on the palace, whatever land. They all live on the court. Those people are bored. They got no any distraction from anything that they do. They just believe in that devil that y'all guys call the head of Church of England. I don't even know what kind of church head he is. He's the head of Church of Devil. Because you can't be a home wrecker yourself, a cheating husband, and tell me that you are the head of Church of Jesus. That ain't no Church of Jesus Christ. We all know what Christ stands for. We know how Christ walked around this planet. You know, that's what my pastor said yesterday. Jesus became poor to save us. Because he was God. You know, God has every single thing. But he was walking around here and God knows. He didn't even have one of them horses that people used to ride back then. He turned himself into a poor man to come and save you. But ain't no way you gonna save Charlie boy. Ain't no way you gonna save that billionaire. That billionaire gonna die in sin. He's hated everywhere. Anytime Prince Harry writes a letter, it leaks. Anytime Prince Harry tried to get peace because that guy has the light of Holy Spirit, the letter is gonna be leaked by the demons, by the Lucifers. Babies. I'm telling you, I might need to focus on my driving because my mouth is just trying to start thinking about some bad stuff. I'll talk to you guys again tomorrow. So that leak in that place there, these people leaky, Willie leaky, Charlie leaky, Mambo leaky, Mambolina leaky, that one there, the senior royal, what's the name of that bitch? That one, the home wrecker, the queen mistress, she leaks more than all of them. I'm telling you, why Charlie boy is not with his son right now on good term, it's because of this home wrecker. That one there, they social climber. That one, that the mistress, the descendant of all them queen mistresses of this planet, the descendant of Alice Couples. You remember what I told you? Alice Couple, Camilla's great grandmama used to be Alice King Birdie's mistress. Remember that I told you about? I made a video about it maybe a year ago or so. So she's a descendant of a long line of mistresses, a home wreckers, all them bitches. She is terrible. Because if she's gonna sit that dude down and tell that dude, listen, you need to make peace with your child, that dude could have done it. I don't know about you, any man I'm dating or I'm married to sits down there and listens to me first before they listen to anybody else. So that's what's going on out here. She's the one doing all this mess. Yep. I'll talk to you later. Bye for now.